Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Jones. This week we are working on compound probability. Before we get started, some materials for each of you would be paper and a writing utensil and a calculator, which could be your phone. If you would like to do the probability experiments along with me, you'll need 2 regular 6-sided dice and a deck of cards without the jokers. If you think you have those things, go ahead and pause the video and go get them. If you don't have them, that's fine. Just follow along with my examples and you'll be good to go. Compound probability works with compound events, which are 2 or more simple events. If we think back to last week, simple events are just singular events like rolling a dice or flipping a coin or drawing a card from a deck of cards. So compound events is when we combine and do 2 or more of those in one occurrence. There are 2 types of compound events, and the first one we are going to talk about are independent compound events. Independent events are events that are independent, which means that the outcome of one event does not impact the outcome of the second event. It means that these are 2 separate events, and what happens when we do the first event does not affect what happens when we do the second event. Some examples of independent events would be flipping a coin and then rolling a dice. These are independent because they are completely separate. When I flip a coin, the outcome of what I get on the coin does not affect what I get when I roll the dice. Another example would be drawing a card with replacement and then drawing another card. What I mean by that is I have a deck of cards, I draw a card from it, look at it, replace it back into the deck. I put it back in the deck of cards, and then I draw another one. This is an example of an independent event because when I draw my first card, look at it, and then put it back in the deck has now not changed when I go to draw the second card. There are still 52 cards in the deck, nothing about it has changed. Okay, so when we replace it, that makes it an independent event. We find the probability of independent compound events using this formula. This is read as the probability of event A and event B is found by taking the probability of event A and multiplying it by the probability of event B. We are going to do some examples to practice that formula. So for our first example, we're going to roll the 2 dice if you had them. We're going to start with theoretical probability. Remember, this means finding the probability what should happen. So we want to know the theoretical probability of rolling an odd number and then rolling a 6. So to find this probability, we split these 2 events into separate events. So we start with the probability of event A, or the probability of rolling an odd number on a dice. So for an odd number, there are 3 possible numbers that are odd out of 6 total sides of the dice. So the probability of rolling an odd is 3 out of 6, or 1/2. Then we find the probability of event B, which would be the probability of rolling a 6. There's 1/6 out of 6 numbers on a dice, so the probability of rolling a 6 would be 1/6. Then to find the compound probability, we take the probability of event A and we multiply it by the probability of event B. Remember, to multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators, and then simplify if needed. So 1/2 times 1/6 is 1/12. And then to turn that into a percent, I'm going to use my calculator to do 1 divided by 12 times 100, which gets me 8.3%. Okay, so the theoretical probability of rolling an odd number and then rolling a 6 is 1/12, or 8.3%. That's fairly low on the probability scale, which means that this is a relatively unlikely event. Now we are going to try out the experimental probability, meaning we will actually do the experiment. If you were able to find 2 dice, we are going to do the same thing, find the probability of rolling an odd and then probability of rolling a 6. I'm going to have you test out your experiment 10 times. Record the number of times your experiment was successful. So over here on my whiteboard, I set up just a yes or no T-chart For the experiment to be successful, you would need to roll an odd and then also roll the 6. Both events have to be successful. If anything else happens, so if neither of the events are successful or if only one is successful, that's a no. So the only way it's a yes, meaning it is successful, is if both events occurred successfully. You rolled an odd and then you rolled a 6. So do that 10 times and then record your probability. Go ahead and pause the video so you can do so. Now, when I did my experiment, I was successful 1 time, so my probability would be 1 out of 10, which is 10%, which is pretty similar to the theoretical probability. Let's try another one. This one is going to use a deck of cards and a dice. Before we do this, I need to talk really quickly about a deck of cards for those of you that are less familiar with them. Decks of cards have 52 total cards. They are made up of 4 suits of cards. Those are diamonds, hearts, clubs, and spades. There are 13 cards in each suit, ranging from ace to king. When we talk about face cards are jacks, queens, and kings. So there are 3 face cards for each suit, meaning there are 12 total face cards in a deck of cards. So we want to know the probability of drawing a diamond from our deck of cards and then rolling a number greater than 3 on our dice. We're going to start with theoretical probability. So again, what should happen? We break this event up into its 2 simple events. So let's start with event A, which would be drawing a diamond from our deck of cards. There are 13 diamonds in a deck of cards, so the probability of drawing a diamond is 13 out of 52, which is 1/4. Then we find the probability of event B, which is rolling a number greater than 3 on a 6-sided dice. That could be 4, 5, or 6. So the probability of rolling a number greater than 3 is 3 out of 6 possible results, which would be 1/2. Then to find the compound probability, I'm going to multiply event A times event B. 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8. And then use my calculator to do the percent. 1 divided by 8 times 100 is 12.5%. Now let's do the experimental probability. So again, we still want to do the probability of drawing a diamond from a deck of cards and rolling a number greater than 3 on a dice. You're going to test the experiment 10 times, record in a T-chart just like last time how many times it was successful, meaning you drew a diamond and you rolled a number greater than 3. Do that 10 times and then write your probability. Go ahead and pause. Now, I was successful 2 times, so my probability was 2 out of 10, which simplifies to 1/5, which is about 20%. So my probability for experimental probability was a little bit higher than the theoretical probability. We only did the experiment 10 times, which is not that many times. So if I did this experiment more, I would guess that my probability would start to drop closer to the theoretical probability, closer to that 12.5%. Let's do one last example. So this is when we are going to draw a card with replacement. So you'll be using your deck of cards. We want to know the theoretical probability of drawing a face card, meaning a jack, queen, or king, and then drawing a 2. Right? And we are going to, again, split this up into 2 separate events. So we're going to start with event A, which was probability of drawing a face card. There are 12 face cards out of 52 total cards. So the probability of drawing a face card is 3 out of 13. And then the probability of event B, or the probability of drawing a 2, there are 4 2s out of 52 possible cards. So the probability of drawing a 2 is 1/13. Then to find the compound probability, we're going to multiply event A times event B. So 3/13 times 1/13 is 3 over 169. Definitely using my calculator. 3 divided by 169 times 100 is about 1.7%. That is very, very low on the probability scale. It is a very unlikely event. Okay, so we're going to do the experiment. Again, when it says with replacement, This means that we are going to draw a card from the deck and look at it to see if it is a face card. Then we are going to put it back in the deck of cards and then draw another one to see if it is a 2. Okay, you're going to test the experiment 10 times, record it in your T-chart. Again, to be successful, you will look at the first card, see if it is a face. If it is a face, you put it back in the deck of cards and draw another one and see if that is a 2. If you get a face card and a 2, then you are successful. If anything else happens, it is not successful. So do that 10 times and then record your probability. Go ahead and pause and do so. Now, when I did this, I was successful 0 times, which means that my probability would be 0 out of 10, which is 0%. If you think back to our probability scale from last week, we know that 0% would mean that it's impossible. Now, this event is not actually impossible. It's just really unlikely. That's what that 1.7% tells us. So I should actually do this experiment a lot more than 10 times. Okay, the more that I do it, the more likely it becomes that I am successful at least once and get out of that 0% range. Okay. So that was compound independent events. You're going to rewatch this video as much as you need to as your notes on this one. Okay, then the next video lesson will be about dependent compound events. So when you are ready to move on, go into Google Classroom and watch the next video lesson on dependent compound events.